Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we talk about top 10 surprising histories of common fruits. Number 2 is the rhubarb's warning. The plight of China during the Opium Wars was tragic. Technologically superior militaries allowed Western nations to bully China and steal its wealth. The worst offense was the introduction of opium, which ruined many lives due to uncontrollable addiction and poverty. After failing to prevent the blockade of Canton, a major trade province, Chinese officials were desperate to retaliate. It would have taken too long to modernize their military, so they looked to other solutions. To regain respect and trade agreements for their country, officials researched the English to determine if an embargo of a few vital products would help. The studies of Lin Sishu, the Chinese commissioner in Canton, had exaggeratedly shown him that without rhubarb, tea, silk, and other goods, the people of foreign nations would be devastated. Number 3 is the apples. Alcohol apples have been eaten since before Jericho's walls were built. They were revered in Western cultures as a mythical symbol and still are respected as a daily health remedy. On the great American frontier, Johnny Appleseed planted plenty of apple trees for welcome settlers, but they didn't munch on them. The notion of eating apples was actually rare since most varieties were bitter and unpleasant. Over time, apples were selected to become larger and tastier, but until then, their main purpose was to create another product. Number 4 is the strawberries. Uniquely, ancestral strawberries originated in both Europe and North America. The French selected wild strawberries for sweetness, but the fruit was still small. Only the Sun King's plans for royal domination romantically brought the parents of the modern strawberry together from across the continents. King Louis XIV of France desired the Spanish throne, so he assigned a spy, Fragier, to study Chilean and Peruvian fortifications. But Fragier's duty was not only to discover the military strength of the colonial Spanish. Previously, another dispatch had found unexpectedly large Chilean strawberries. A military engineer posing as a merchant, Fragier purchased the strawberries and brought them back to France. Number 5 is the chili peppers. Ubiquity chilies are intensely spicy to prevent animals from eating their seeds, which aren't suited for survival past digestion. In an evolutionary insult, humans raised and ate chili peppers specifically for their natural flame, producing varieties so intense that they blister skin and blind if exposed to the eye. Latin Americans are stereotypically known to enjoy an apparent immunity to the blazing effects, a not entirely false notion given the cultural origin of the chili. 6 In the records of conquistadors, the Aztecs and Maya ate chilies with anything and everything. Chilies were believed to have medicinal properties to cure various sicknesses. The smoke was used as both a highly effective pest deterrent and a highly effective children's punishment. Number 6 is the pumpkin's tradition. Our favorite squash, the pumpkin wasn't always able to be carved into sturdy, smiling Halloween decorations. However, even pilgrims praise the pumpkin's long storage time and sweetly nutritious flesh. In this verse circa 1633: For pottage and puddings and custards and pies are pumpkins and parsnips are common supplies. We have pumpkins at morning and pumpkins at noon. If it were not for pumpkins, we should be undoomed. Europeans were incremental to the creation of the modern pumpkin. The earliest jack-o'-lanterns were made from lit coals placed in hollow root vegetables such as turnips and potatoes. The lanterns were held during festivals to brighten the night. Number 7 is the avocado's salvation. Before agriculture, avocado seeds enjoyed widespread travel in the bodies of various megafauna before being defecated in fertile feces. Birds and other small animals did not provide any benefit in helping plant the large seed, and so were all lethally deterred from eating avocados through development of the taxon person. After the Ice Age extinction event, 3/4 of all megafauna were wiped out. With the avocado's distributors all gone, it required a savior from extinction, us. Number 8 is the tomato's toxicity. By now, it is common knowledge that the tomato has a tainted past. Being a member of the notoriously poisonous nightshade family, the bright red tomato was thought by wary Europeans to be toxic for over 2 centuries. But this was no simple assumption on appearance. Affluent Europeans did die of poisoning after eating tomatoes on their pewter plates. The acidity from the fruit released lead, a component metal of butyralloy at the time, producing a deadly combination of tableware and tomato. Furthermore, 10 cm, 4 in, tomato hornworm caterpillars were thought to poison the tomatoes they infested. Though we now know they are harmless, the caterpillars had a menacing red protrusion on their tails. Number 9 is the pineapple's adoration. For centuries, everyone involved in the pineapple's colonial trade absolutely adored it. The earliest records involve Caribbeans, expert navigators who traded and raided across the islands to collect all manner of bounty. The intense sweetness of the pineapple elevated it as a staple in important feasts and cultural rites. During Columbus's second voyage to the Caribbean, his crew hauntingly found pineapples beside pots of body parts, evidence of cannibalism at their first inspection of an abandoned Carib village. Number 1 is the breadfruit's mutiny. Breadfruit was discovered by a scientific crew in Tahiti, an island located in the center of the South Pacific. 18th-century Europeans had gathered to witness the transit of Venus, an extremely rare astronomical event which is similar in nature to a solar eclipse by the moon. With them was botanist Joseph Banks, who correctly and impressively identified the breadfruit as a cheap and nutritious fruit, albeit for the mistreated slaves of the sugar plantations. King George III directed Lieutenant William Bligh to gather this potentially valuable fruit. Number 10 is the kiwifruit's nationality. Kiwifruit, shortened as kiwi, was named after the bird of the same name due to its fuzzy brown resemblance. The curiously shaped avians are endemic to New Zealand, and you'd expect the fruits to be, too. After all, they produced over $1 billion for the country in 2015. However, kiwifruit actually originated in China under a name that translates to macaque peach due to its popularity with the local monkeys. Later on, the English named it the Chinese gooseberry for reasons completely unknown.